Don't scroll away just yet, because what I'm about to show you is absolutely going to blow your mind. So what if I told you all, remember the last video I did a few days ago or last week where I was talking about, I'm tired of living in a system that's rigged. Everything that we know of here on this planet is a rigged system. It's like a rat wheel. Everything's rigged, and we're all trapped in this enclosed system that's designed for us to be trapped. Well, what if I told you all that there was an invention that was patented years ago that was designed to keep your food cold for over 200 years, okay? And this patent idea that they came up with was not only designed to keep your food cold and fresh for over 200 years, but it has no motor, no compressor, does not run on any type of electricity at all, and the only thing that runs it is one single flame of fire. Now you're going to be asking, you're going to be like, that ain't real. How is it able to keep things cold if it's run on a single flame? Don't believe me? This is a real thing, y'all. And when the elites heard about this, they was like, we got to scrap this because this is not going to make us any money. What would they rather do? Sell you 8 to 9 refrigerators in your whole entire lifespan? Because that's what's going to make the money, right? In your whole entire lifespan, you may have to buy between 8 to 9 refrigerators from the time you're born, from the time you die. About 8 to 9 refrigerators in your whole lifespan, right? But they don't want you to know about this single design to where you could keep your food fresh and cold with a single flame, okay? And it don't run on a motor, no electricity, no compressor, none of that. Just a single flame, okay? And I think it'll cost you it's like $8 a month or something. Anyways, it's going to save you a ton of money. Anyways, when the elites found out about this, they're like, we got to get rid of this. We got to scrap this, But anyways, I'm going to quit yapping my lips and gums, and I'm going to show you all what I'm talking about. Let's jump into it.
There is a single blue flame burning in an Amish kitchen in Lancaster County tonight. No bigger than your thumb. It has been burning for 43 years. It costs that family less than $7 a month. And it keeps every drop of milk, every pound of meat, every jar of cream colder than the refrigerator humming in your kitchen right now. The one you are paying $40, $50, $60 a month to run. Stop and think about that. $7 a month. That little flame is doing something your electric fridge cannot. No motor, no compressor, no electricity, no monthly bill from the power company. The Amish have been using this exact method since 1922. The same year your grandfather was learning to drive a Model T, they never needed General Electric, they never needed a power grid, they never needed permission. The first time I walked into one of these homes outside Millersburg, Ohio, I spent 20 minutes looking for the hum. You know that hum. That low background drone every American kitchen has. It was not there. And when the old man finally showed me what was keeping his butter hard as stone in the middle of July, I felt something I had not felt in 30 years. I felt cheated. By the time I finished telling you what I learned from a 1,922 patent document and a quiet Holmes County farmer named Mervyn, you are going to feel it too. And this works in the house you already own. Let me back up, because when I first heard about this, I did exactly what you are probably doing right now. I crossed my arms. I said, no way, a flame cannot make something cold. That violates everything I learned in high school. Fire is hot, cold is the absence of heat. You cannot burn your way to ice cubes. That is what I thought. Then I read about a man named Baltzar von Platen. He was a Swedish engineering student in 1922, working alongside his classmate Carl Munters at the Royal Institute of Technology in Stockholm. These two young men, barely in their 20s, figured out something that the entire electrical industry has spent 100 years trying to bury. They proved that you can use heat, a small, steady flame, to drive a cooling cycle that requires zero electricity and has zero moving parts. They filed the patent. The system was real, it worked, and by 1925, a company called Electrolux had bought the rights and started selling these refrigerators across Europe and America. Here is the part that should make every man over 50 grind his teeth. By the late 1930s, the American electrical industry realized this technology was a problem. A refrigerator with no motor lasts forever. There is nothing to wear out, nothing to replace, no reason to call a repairman, no reason to upgrade every 8 years, no monthly electric bill to feed it. So the marketing machine rolled in. Compressor fridges got pushed. The flame-driven absorption fridge was quietly shoved to the margins, to RVs, to remote cabins, to places the grid could not reach, and to the Amish, because the Amish never cared what General Electric was selling, they cared what worked. The principle is called absorption refrigeration. A pure liquid ammonia solution sits inside a sealed system. A tiny flame, the size of a pilot light on a gas water heater, heats one chamber. The heat drives the ammonia vapor up through a coil. As it rises and condenses, it pulls heat out of the insulated food box on the other side. The vapor cools, drips back down, and the cycle repeats. Forever. As long as that one little flame keeps burning. No compressor, no motor, no fan, no thermostat clicking on and off. Just one quiet flame, and the laws of physics doing exactly what Baltzar von Platen proved they would do in 1922. But here is what I did not understand until I sat at Mervin's kitchen table in Holmes County last spring. The Amish are not just using these fridges because they are off-grid. They are using them because they figured out decades ago that a single propane flame burning 24 hours a day cost them less in a year than I was paying General Electric in a single month. Mervin pulled out his ledger, handwritten, in pencil. His total propane cost for refrigeration in 2023 was $78.40. Mine was over $600. And his fridge was built in 1978. It has been running without a single repair for 46 years. Now think about that. 46 years. My last fridge died at year 9. The repairman told me it was cheaper to buy a new one, so I did. And then that one died at year 7. We have been trained to accept appliances that fail on a schedule. The Amish refused to accept that bargain. They kept the old technology, the technology that works. And here is where the story gets darker. Because once you understand the absorption fridge exists, you start asking why your father never had one, why your neighbor does not have one, why the appliance store does not carry one. The answer is not that the technology failed. The technology never failed. It was buried. Buried by an industry that figured out sometime around 1947 that selling a man one fridge for life was a terrible business model. Selling him 8 fridges over his lifetime was a much better one. So they advertised, they lobbied, they pushed, and the flame-driven fridge got pushed out to the edges where only the Amish, the truckers, and the cabin owners ever saw one. There is more to this story, and the next part is the part the gas utility companies do not want anybody to figure out. Because that one tiny flame, it does not even have to run on propane. I want to tell you about a man named John Stoltzfus. He was an old order Amish bishop in Lancaster County, and in 1969 he wrote a letter that ended up in the archives of the Young Center for Anabaptist and Pietist Studies at Elizabethtown College. The letter was about technology, about what to accept, what to refuse, and in it, he said something that has stuck with me since I read it. We do not refuse the electric because we fear it. We refuse it because it makes us forget how the world actually works. That sentence hit me like a hammer, because I had forgotten. I had forgotten that cold is not something you buy from a wall socket. Cold is a physical process. Heat moves, pressure changes. Molecules absorb and release energy. The Amish never forgot. They kept the knowledge alive on purpose. And the absorption fridge, that quiet flame system, was one of the things they preserved. Now here is the practical part, because I know what you are thinking. You are thinking, alright, this sounds great, but I am not Amish. I have a regular house, I have a regular kitchen, and I am not about to rip out my walls. Stay with me. because what I learned next changes everything. These absorption refrigerators are still being built, right now, today, by Amish craftsmen in Pennsylvania and Ohio. The most common brand is built by a cooperative in Lancaster County that has been producing them since the 1950s. A full-size unit, comparable to your standard kitchen fridge, runs between $2,000 and $3,000 new. Used units, in working condition, regularly sell for under $800. They run on propane, they run on natural gas. Some of the older models, the ones from the 1930s, even run on kerosene. And here is the wild part. Some of them can run on 3 different fuels, switching back and forth depending on what is available. A single 20-pound propane tank, the same tank you use for your backyard grill, will run one of these refrigerators for about 3 weeks. 3 weeks of continuous 24-hour cooling on a tank that costs you about $22 to fill. Do the math. That is roughly $400 a year for refrigeration. If your home is hooked up to natural gas, the number drops to under $100 a year. And if the grid goes down, ice storm, hurricane, summer blackout, whatever it is, your food stays cold forever, as long as you have fuel. This is the part the prepper crowd has known for years but never quite explained to the rest of us. When the lights go out, the Amish fridge does not care. There is no inverter to fail, no battery to drain, no solar panel to clean, just the flame. And the flame does not know there is a hurricane outside. Now, there is something the manuals never tell you, and I learned this from a man in Strasburg, Pennsylvania, who has been repairing these units for 38 years. He said, the absorption fridge has one weakness, and it is also its greatest strength. It must be perfectly level, within a 1/4 inch over the entire cabinet. If it tilts more than that, the liquid ammonia pools incorrectly, and the cooling cycle slows down. That is why the Amish set these units on solid stone or thick hardwood floors, never on linoleum, never on anything that flexes, but once you level it correctly, that fridge will outlive you. The repairman told me he has serviced units from 1,952 that are still pulling food down to 34 degrees on a hot August afternoon. Now, if you already own a house and you are thinking this only applies to people building from scratch, stay with me, because this next part is specifically for you. I want you to walk into your kitchen tomorrow morning and look at the wall behind your current refrigerator. In 9 out of 10 American homes built before 1980, there is a gas line within 12 feet of that wall. Maybe it feeds your stove, maybe it feeds your water heater, maybe it is an old capped line from when the previous owner had a gas dryer. That line is your starting point. An absorption refrigerator does not need a special hookup. It needs a 1/4 inch flex line, the same kind that feeds your gas stove. A licensed plumber can run that line in about 3 hours. Most homeowners I know have done it themselves with a basic plumbing kit from the hardware store and a soap water test for leaks. The total cost of the line and the fittings is under $60. The total install time, if you are doing it yourself on a Saturday morning, is 1 afternoon. You do not need to remodel, you do not need new wiring. In fact, you can unplug the wiring you have. The space your current fridge occupies is more than enough for a standard absorption unit. They come in nearly identical dimensions, 28 inches wide, 65 inches tall, same shelves, same crisper drawers, same ice maker on the higher end models. The only difference is the small vent at the back where the warm exhaust escapes, and a small flame chamber at the bottom that you will never see and rarely think about. Mervyn told me his wife has never had to defrost their fridge, not once in 46 years. Because absorption fridges run at a much more consistent temperature than compressor fridges, there is no on-off cycle. The flame burns steady, the cold stays steady. Frost does not build up the way it does in your unit, which kicks on and off every 8 minutes and creates those little temperature swings that grow ice crystals on your peas. The food lasts longer too. A gallon of raw milk in Mervyn's fridge stayed fresh for 19 days. Try that in your kitchen. But there is something else I need to tell you. Something I almost missed. When I was sitting at Mervyn's table, his grandson, a boy of about 11, brought in a small wooden box from the spring house out back. Inside that box were 3 glass jars. Butter, cream, and a cut of cured pork. The boy said, "Grandpa, the spring house is doing the heavy work this month. We don't need to keep these in the kitchen." And Mervyn nodded and smiled at me and said, "That's the real secret. The fridge is just the backup." I did not understand at first, but what he meant was this. The Amish do not rely on the absorption fridge alone. They use it as one tool in a system. The spring house, the root cellar, the ice house, and the absorption fridge work together. The fridge handles the things that need consistent cold year-round: the dairy, the eggs, the leftovers. The cellar handles the root vegetables and the canned goods. The spring house handles the butter and the cream in summer. The ice house handles the meat in winter. The flame only has to do a fraction of the work because the rest of the system is doing its part. That is why their fuel bills are so low. That is why one 20-pound propane tank lasts 3 weeks. The fridge is not fighting the whole kitchen on its own. It is supported by 100 other small decisions that the modern American home threw away sometime around 1955. And here is the layer most people never reach. The Amish do not keep their fridge in the warmest part of the kitchen. They keep it in the coldest part. Usually a north-facing wall, away from the cook stove, away from direct sunlight. American kitchens are designed around the cook's convenience: fridge next to the stove, dishwasher next to the sink, microwave above the range. The Amish designed around physics. Cold equipment goes in cold corners, hot equipment goes in hot corners, never the two shall meet. By moving the fridge to the coolest wall in your kitchen, you can reduce its workload by as much as 18%. That alone, on your current electric fridge, would save you about $90 a year. Before I show you what Maria Telkis documented in 1947 at MIT, one quick thing. Everything I have been digging out of these Amish kitchens and old patent archives, the single blue flame burning since 1922, the absorption fridge that runs on $7 a month of propane, the 20-pound tank that lasts 3 weeks, the quarter-inch flex line install for under $60 on a Saturday morning, the spring house plus root cellar plus ice house system that lets the fridge handle a fraction of the work, the trick of putting cold equipment in the coldest corner of the kitchen, the cellar vent I am about to walk you through, the $50 wall from the Trombe wall video, the Burkholder reservoir from the sand battery video, the smoke shelf from the Hans Herr video, the breath line from the $8 fix video, and all the other pieces I have pulled out of Lancaster County and Holmes County over the years. I have put it all in one place, room by room, season by season, in the order the families actually use it. It is called the Amish Home System. Link is in the description. But stay right here, because what Maria Telkis documented in 1947 is the $40 weekend project that
century on a flame. Freon was a recurring revenue machine on 4 legs. Within 5 years of the Atlanta candle demonstration, Frigidaire and other manufacturers using Freon had sold more than 8 million refrigerators across the United States. The Einstein-Szilard patent, the Platen Munters design, and every flame-powered fridge ever manufactured were quietly pushed off the shelves. They did not fail. They worked too permanently for a business model built on recurring revenue. 40 years later, scientists discovered Freon was ripping a hole in the ozone layer. The Montreal Protocol phased it out in 1987. Midgley himself had died long before that, in 1944, and his death is one of the strangest industrial footnotes in American history. He had contracted polio at the age of 51 and lost the use of his legs. Being an inventor, he designed an elaborate system of ropes, pulleys, and harnesses to lift his own body out of bed each morning. On November 2, 1944, he was found dead in his bedroom in Worthington, Ohio. He had become entangled in the pulley system he built for himself. The man who killed the flame refrigerator and handed America leaded gasoline was strangled by his own invention. Einstein's patent was still sitting in Washington, still working, still forgotten. Now, if you are finding any of this interesting, like and subscribe, because I want to show you a document I found in the archives, and it is the single most absurd detail in this entire story. Between 1930 and 1957, the Serval Corporation in Evansville kept building flame-powered refrigerators for Americans who lived off-grid. Farmers, rural families, cabin owners, anyone too far from a power line to justify a Freon unit. At its post-war peak, Serval employed 7,000 people and produced gas refrigerators alongside gas water heaters and the first residential gas-powered air conditioners. In 1939, Electrolux Serval unveiled a residential gas air conditioner at the New York World's Fair. They named the exhibit Magic Caves of Ice. They housed the exhibit inside a display building called the Court of Flame. The original promotional material is preserved in the Indiana Historical Society archive. The phrase Court of Flame appears on the official floor plan of the fair. A decade into the Freon era, Serval was still publicly standing on a fairground in New York City, telling Americans that the future of cold was aflame. Then, in 1942, the United States military commandeered the Serval factory for wartime production. Between 1942 and the end of World War II, Serval built more than 6,000 pairs of wings for the P-47 Thunderbolt fighter plane. The production lines that once built refrigerator cabinets were retooled to produce anti-tank mines, 37mm and 40mm cartridge cases, and field kitchen fire units for the front lines. A refrigerator company building bombs and fighter wings. After the war ended, Serval transitioned back to consumer goods. Their 1948 sales brochures carried a slogan in plain black type: "Stays silent, lasts longer, because it freezes with no moving parts." Then, in 1957, Serval went bankrupt. That same year, the refrigerator bowl was canceled for lack of public support. Whirlpool bought the factory in 1958 and used it as a warehouse until they moved production to Mexico in 2010. That Evansville facility, once the refrigerator capital of America, sat empty for decades before it burned to the ground in a warehouse fire in October of 2022. 120 years of industrial history, gone in a single night. You will not find a new Serval gas refrigerator in an appliance store today, but you can still find them running. A small group of collectors maintains a website dedicated specifically to vintage Serval units manufactured between 1927 and 1956. Some of those refrigerators are now close to 90 years old, and they are still operating, still cooling, still running on a single flame that has burned behind a panel since before most viewers of this video were born. The Amish never forgot. Lancaster County in Pennsylvania and the Holmes County settlement in Ohio are populated by families who refuse to connect to public electrical utilities by choice, not by poverty. They see public power as a tether to the outside world that erodes the separation their theology requires. So when Serval closed in 1957 and the mainstream market abandoned gas refrigeration, the Amish simply kept using the units they already owned. When parts ran out, they started making their own. Easy Freeze, the company that built Amos's refrigerator in Holmes County, was founded by Amish craftsmen specifically to keep the Absorption fridge alive. Their units today use the same three-fluid chemistry Einstein and Szilard patented on that November day in 1930. Their largest models hold 21 cubic feet of food. They cool within the first hour of lighting the flame and reach full temperature within 8 to 12 hours. Not far from Holmes County in Shipshewana, Indiana, another Amish-owned company called National RV Refrigeration takes apart old absorption coolers from recreational vehicles and rebuilds them on a workbench. The owner, Glenn Miller, told a reporter that the advantage of gas absorption refrigerators is simply that they can be rebuilt. A 12-volt compressor fridge, when it breaks, is scrap metal. The whole sealed unit goes in the landfill. A flame-powered fridge gets a new cooling coil and the same cabinet runs for another 20 years. Glenn's shop processes several of these rebuilds every single day. They bought out the old stock from several RV manufacturers when those companies transitioned to 12-volt compressor units, then resold the rebuilt absorption systems to off-grid homesteaders, cabin owners, and Amish families across the Midwest. These units are not obsolete. They are outside the system that was designed to replace them. The physics, the chemistry, and the patents were never wrong. They were inconvenient for a quarterly earnings report. And here is the detail that ties the story shut. In 2008, a team of electrical engineers at Oxford University, led by Malcolm McCulloch in the Energy and Power Group, revived Einstein's original 1930 patent. Their stated project was to build refrigerators for rural communities in the developing world that have no grid electricity. Their